Guys, I'm back. It's your girl, Old Father Thames. Let's see what we can find. It's great to be back down on the foreshore. I haven't been here in months now. Good point. It's meant to be an alright low tide today, so that is a good point. Bad point, I found out last night that the Thames barrier has gone up. I went up last night to help protect against a potential surge that was coming into central London. There was risk of flooding. So yeah, the Thames barrier went up. That's the 199th time in its history that it's gone up. Anyway, let's see what happens today. Maybe the low won't be as low as predicted. Who knows? Let's check it out. Sadly, it's not always the kind of money you want to find. That's a modern coin there. Here's another coin that's just... Oh no! I beg your pardon, it's a button. Oh, brilliant. So, it's an E-Grove button. I have a few of these at home. And he's a tailor or gentleman's outfitters from the late 19th century. And this is a really nice button. God, it looks good as new, doesn't it? So there we go. E-Grove, Edward Grove, Lambeth. And I've previously done quite a lot of research about this chap, so here it comes at you now. Edward Grove, clothier and outfitter of Lambeth. In 1884, E. Grove, merchant tailor, juvenile clothier and complete outfitter, was advertising their newly rebuilt premises as the Lambeth establishment, housed at numbers 37 to 41 Lower Marsh, near Waterloo Station. Edward Grove catered an entire new stock of all kinds of clothing for all classes, all prices reduced, cheaper and better than ever. There's a wealth of information regarding Grove online, including beautifully printed posters stored at the British Library and Lambeth Council. In addition to the usual records, I also found a curious reference to E. Grove in Archives for the Old Bailey, the Central Criminal Court of England and Wales, and that was about a case concerning one of their employees. In April 1862, one Richard Painter was up before the beak at the Old Bailey, accused of stealing a coat from his master, Edward Grove. Painter was acquitted of all charges, and the court considered there was no evidence against the prisoner. Someone really had it in for Painter, as he was immediately up again for the same charge, different master, different garment, but that's another story. By 1895, E. Grove had branched out to mechanics, painters, butchers and sailors' clothing, with additional premises at 272 and 274 Edgware Road. Well, I think I've hit a bit of a sweet spot here, and while I do have another area I'd quite like to be in right now, I'm not moving because bits and bobs keep turning up. Button, another button, and I don't think that's got anything on it. You can see the backing there, London. I'm not sure I can make out the name just here. I think it's probably a Jennens. That looks like a Jennens button to me. Made a lot of military buttons. The back mark on this button reads C. Jennens, London, which places its manufacture between 1807 and 1825. This is an incomplete two-part button, with only the button back remaining, which is why the front is plain. There would have been another part that slipped over the button back. Jennens was founded in 1800 under the name Messrs. Jennens and Co. It appears that Charles Jennens Sr. was also a button maker in the parish of St. George, Hanover Square, and after his death in 1818, Charles Jr. carried on the family business. In the Post Office of London 1891 directory, Jennens were listed as button and military and naval ornament and accoutrement manufacturers to Her Majesty, the Prince of Wales, and the royal family. Their business address at this time was 56 Conduit Street, in the heart of Mayfair, which nowadays looks something like this. By the turn of the 20th century, Jennens and Company Limited were one of the biggest button manufacturers around. In 1924, upon a petition made by one of their creditors, Furman & Sons, also in the button business, Jennens were forced into compulsory liquidation. The Jennens name carried on under Gaunt & Sons until the 1950s. I do keep these, I like some of the designs, so I'll keep that one. Now if the boats could just lay off for a minute, I might find a few more coin-like objects. It's a bit of a day for metal. Yeah, let's see what this is. Looks to me like a cufflink. One part of a cufflink, or an old cuff button. Let me just have a closer look at this. I can see it's decorative. You can see the beading on the edges there. See around the edges? You can see on the back here it had an attachment there. I think it might be an 18th century cuff button or cufflink, part of one. I've found tiny ones like this before. I found an 18th century cuff button like this. I think this cufflink or cuff button dates to the 18th century on the basis that there are similar examples listed in the Portable Antiquities Scheme records. However, those examples are of a much finer quality, both in materials and execution of design. The design itself is a crude petalled rose, and what I earlier called the beading on the border is actually a twisted rope design. It is octagonal in shape, and unlike other examples I've seen, the border is not scalloped, although in places it looks as though the intention was there. Most examples are silver and have been finely tooled. My theory is that this example is an imitation of those designs, made of copper alloy and executed with a much less skilled hand. I spoke to the British jewellery specialist and historian Geoffrey Munn, who confirmed that he too thought it was early 18th century, possibly even late 17th, but as there is so little detail to go on, it's hard to be more precise. As soon as the Museum of London is open to recording finds again, I will take it there for further investigation. Corset bust. So this area that I haven't been to in 6 months has completely changed and shifted, and a lot of where I'd normally search is under all this shingle and stone. So it might just be a case of me chucking a few stones around for a while and seeing what happens, but we're just at low tide now, and I've checked the tide tables. The low is as predicted, so that's all right. Got some type face here, an O, and this little cross. Some sort of decorative lead piece. That's quite cute. I'm not sure what that was from, but would have gone on something as a piece of decoration, I think. It's very sweet. I think it would have been attached there. I just turned up this jug fragment. You can see the handle there. That's really lovely to see where it's been formed. So there we go. I'm holding this jug or flagon, whatever it was. It's incredible. That looks like a nail marking there from the potter. Wow. Comb slipware. Lovely example there. I know I show you this stuff every time, but it's just too good not to show you. Alright guys, well thanks for joining me once again. It's been great to be back out here and I'm so glad you're all stuck with me and you're watching. We had some great finds today. I'm really pleased with those buttons and also that little cuff button. That is a really nice welcome find. So hope you're all keeping safe out there and I'll see you again soon.